Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Lewa Show. So wonderful to have you join me again. And I'm coming to you from the beautiful APEC House in Port Moresby. And yes, I do have a very special guest with me today, and I'd like to introduce her, Dame Carol Kidu. Thank you so much for your time.
It's a pleasure, Lewa.
So lovely to have you since our last conversation. Thank you for accepting our invitation.
Yeah.
So today, before we go, for the sake of our viewers, could you just introduce yourself?
Well, I guess I say I'm Carol Kidu. Officially, I'm Dame Carol Kidu, but I only use the titles when it's for benefit of someone else.
Okay.
Because many people earn those titles for me and with me. So I'm Carol Kidu, and if you want to know a bit about me.
Yes, please.
I'm a teacher by profession, a secondary teacher, but then as many people know, I was in politics for 15 years, in ministerial positions, finished in a funny situation when I was leader of the opposition of two people, and retired by choice. And then since politics, I've done regional work, global work, PNG work, not too much of it, but I've been focusing on my own extended family and trying to do a social enterprise that can support family later.
That's beautiful. So you said you're a secondary teacher. How then did you merge from being a teacher? Did you ever envision yourself working in politics?
No, never at all. I'd never voted until I voted for myself.
Oh, wow.
I was not at all involved in politics because late Saburi Kidu, being a politician, a Chief Justice, he did not actually vote. He chose not to vote. He didn't want to get his mind to align in any way with politics. And so we never voted. And after he died suddenly, in a sudden death, a lot of people were asking him to go into politics. And when he died suddenly, he used to say to them, give me 6 months to decide and then come back to me. And he died almost 6 months to the day of non-reappointment as a Chief Justice. And I guess it was there. I had this passion that, well, he's not here to do it, I'll give it a go.
Wow.
Knowing nothing about it, just a passion, a fire in my belly.
Amazing. So when you took that first step, it must have been daunting.
It was daunting, but also I was very strategic. I know very much of how much culture, family, community, and all those things are very important in Papua New Guinea, and I had to strategize very carefully in winning my first election. And undoubtedly, the sympathy vote of my being the widow of the first Indigenous Chief Justice helped in my first election. And then I had to prove myself to be able to be re-voted in twice.
Wow. How did your family take that? I know you have beautiful children. At the time, how did they see this as mum venturing out into politics now?
I don't know. Probably it's a question you need to ask them. Often when I go and speak with women's groups who are involved in politics, I say that please think beforehand how it might affect your children and your family. And I'd say to them, you don't have a wife to go and do all the running around and things that the male politicians have.
Right.
And I would say for a fact that two of my daughters in particular, they put their lives on hold for 15 years to support me while I was in politics. And I sometimes feel guilty about that because family in general were very supportive, I think, the extended family. Some possibly not. That's the nature of politics.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Politics isn't for everyone, is it? But here you are, one of the very few female politicians ever to serve in Papua New Guinea. And it's just tremendous, the work that you've done, and to have you sitting here with us. Thank you. And I'm sure you're a motivation to many who do want to venture down that path as well. Yes.
I hope so. I hope so.
You are. I can testify that you are. We will be right back. You're watching The Lewa Show. I have some questions for Dame Carol, which is over on the other side of this short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Lewa Show, and I've got Dame Carol Kidu here with me today. Now, we discussed mental health being World Mental Health Day on the 10th of October in our last episode on The Lewa Show. And I wanted to get your opinion on this. We discussed depression specifically. And today I wanted to touch a little on suicide because we had a really large response to that last episode because people felt that we don't talk about it enough. Would you agree with that here in Papua New Guinea?
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. And another date going further back on the 10th of September is World Suicide Day.
Okay.
10th of October is World Mental Health Day, and this year it was the theme was suicide prevention. Yeah. And it's not spoken about. I think it is increasing, and that's just anecdotal in my own belief from what I've seen as a politician and in my own extended community. I think we have to be concerned about it because there are, I think, increasing numbers of people who are attempting to take their own lives. And that indicates they're under enormous stress of some sort. And so we have to take note of this. It's the second highest cause of death globally. Mm-hmm. We don't know in Papua New Guinea. We don't have the
highest, did you say?
Yeah, in young people.
For young people.
For young people.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, and in Papua New Guinea we don't have the statistics, but I would think we're probably similar to global, but we can't assume that. We need to start getting better data on all these things. For young men, the highest cause of death is usually vehicle accidents, fighting and things like that, result of trauma. And for young women, the highest cause of death for young women is maternal mortality related things. Girls having babies too young, girls attempted abortions that don't work out and things like that. And they in themselves are indicators of mental stress. They don't just happen. And yet we condemn people and we criticize them instead of going deeper and saying why. And see, here in Papua New Guinea, attempted suicide is a criminal offence still.
A criminal offence?
This is the laws from the 1600s in Britain. Globally, almost all countries have got rid of those laws. There are 25 nations that still have attempted suicide as a criminal offence, and Papua New Guinea is one of them. Then there are 20 countries under Islamic Sharia law who also have that. Now, to me, I find that very strange that we're still doing that. So if they
attempted suicide,
they can be charged.
Oh,
they can be charged with a criminal offence. Now, anyone who attempts suicide needs help. They don't need
to go to jail
or be treated as a criminal. They need help. It's a cry for help.
Yes. And obviously in our society, we don't have that structure, would you agree, to cater to this population, really?
Now, I would say. I think traditionally, there was the whole family around, and I don't know. We just don't have longitudinal data to know. I think it probably is increasing because traditionally there were the family around to intervene, stop any attempts and things like that. But now society is changing, particularly in the urban areas, but also rural. And so there are not the protective barriers around of people who might be the interveners.
That support system?
And so, the interveners. And so someone who might be attempting suicide really is a cry for help. There's no one there to say, hey, are you okay? 1 second. 1 second. Are you okay? Vinamu velas. You all right or no God? And if you can get them to talk, because you can often feel that someone's not quite right, there's some stress. And if you can get 1 second it takes, and then if you can get them to talk, another 40 seconds of talking might help them to de-stress, cool down. And it's 1 in 20 ratio, one successful suicide, which means a death, is about 20 attempted, and those people need help.
What happens to the 19 people who...
No, there's 1 to 20. There's one gone.
1 to 20. Okay.
So there's 20, So that's the generalized global statistics that have been gathered on this issue. And it's an issue that is now being recognized globally. That wasn't so when I was a young woman.
Right. So the challenges that we face in this particular area are still around from the time that you were in politics. We still have it at the moment.
And I think increasing. Probably.
Yes. Well, there's a lot of pressures in society
people
now.
People under financial stress.
Yes.
Not able to feed families properly, not able to do all sorts of things, in huge debt or something, taking a debt and then not be able to. There are many factors now that did not exist traditionally.
Yes.
And we need to.
The times have changed for sure. And your thought on it being a criminal offence?
Oh, to me it's ridiculous, as are several other areas that are criminalised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think should happen then?
I think we should repeal. It's just a matter of repealing those legislations and taking a more compassionate approach to our people. These are our loved ones. They're our daughters, our sons, our in-laws that for some reason, often alcohol-induced, and that's an important thing to remember, that alcohol is a contributing factor to suicide, plus availability of things to suicide with, medications and things of that nature that can help a person to suicide. Yeah.
You're watching The Lewa Show. We'll be right back. I'm here with Dame Carol Kidu at the APEC House in Port Moresby. Welcome back to The Lewa Show. We're coming to you from the APEC House in Port Moresby, and I'm here with Dame Carol Kidu. And we just talked about suicide and it being a criminal offence in Papua New Guinea. Now, what else can be done to combat this?
I think we've got to come back to family and community very much to start with. But we've got to remember that family, often a person, particularly a young person, which are a risk category, may not be able or comfortable to talk to their family about their suicidal thoughts, and so there's the community around them has to be supportive. To go to their family, they might feel ashamed or things like that, and suicide still has a stigma effect to it. So there's the family, there's the surrounding community. I think the church can play a very vital role in this, and again, not condemning, but embracing and helping people who are struggling. We have to look at how we deal with these things, that it wasn't done traditionally. Often you will find suicide will tie in with addictive behaviour, particularly alcohol and marijuana and things like that. Now again, they are criminalised effects. I don't believe in the criminalisation of them because it doesn't solve the issue. I would love, and I wanted in my time, but it never happened, to see a Bureau for Addictive Behaviour. And during my time in politics, I spoke with various churches who were very keen to partner and to work on the addictive behaviour things that contribute to it. So we need to look at the contributing factors and tackle them, as well as showing care and compassion to individuals. Young people today have a lot of stress on them. There's a lot of dreadful bullying in the internet, and some real nastiness to everyone.
It's very sad.
And it's very traumatizing. I've had it happen to me. Of course, being a politician, you face all sorts of things, and it can be quite emotionally traumatizing to look at those, to face that type of thing.
Yeah.
And so, it's got to be, I would say, what I call a WOG and a WASH approach.
Okay.
WOG stands for whole of government.
Okay.
There needs to be a multi-sectoral approach to most things. Any health issue is also an education issue, is also an issue to do with justice. Also, we need a whole of government approach, a multi-sectoral approach, and then a whole of society. So the family alone can't do it. We need the churches, we need the NGOs, the civil society, and we don't have enough civil society organisations in Papua New Guinea, indigenous ones, that are dealing with these issues. Many people are still very embroiled in their own family life. Their funeral feast, their deaths, and all of these things.
Just trying to get by.
Trying to feed their family. And so I think we need more civil society response that is not necessarily an international one, although we're grateful for that. We also need to nurture our own responses here in Papua New Guinea as we go.
It's really good advice.
And not condemn.
Not condemn, embrace.
Condemn. Let's embrace and show some compassion. Yes.
Like it used to be before, like you were saying, in the times where you had everyone come around when something was wrong and support each other, lift each other up. So you mentioned the Are You OK campaign. Are there any others that you'd like to bring light to?
That's a campaign in Australia, very much. I know the Are You OK? I'm really not quite sure. I'm sure there are many different ones.
We probably should start one.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Yeah.
Every show start off, are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you feeling stressed today?
How are you feeling,
Breathe.
right?
How are you feeling? Breathe. relax.
Because most times people say, how are you? And, you know, you'll just get a, I'm fine, as opposed to how are you feeling about something.
Yes.
Yeah. I like that.
Let's dig a little bit deeper.
Deeper than the surface, yes.
Because we all go through it. I go through it, you go through it.
Oh, yes.
Enormous stresses and things.
Any final words to share before we go?
I just think probably the 1 second. Try to connect with people, see how they're feeling, and pick it up yourself. Pick up the vibes that something's going on, and it's not always easy. But
it's everyone's responsibility, would you say?
Everyone's responsibility to try to prevent increasing suicide, which we don't have the statistics to, but I do believe it's probably increasing in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you so much for your time, Dame Carolyn, for sharing those words. And we hope, viewers, that if you are going through something or you know of someone, do ask them how they're going, how they're feeling even, right? It's a 1 second question.
Yep, 1 second.
1 second, it just takes 1 second. So thank you once again for your time.
Thank you, and thank you to everyone in Papua New Guinea.
You're watching The Lewa Show, and we're coming to you from the APEC House in Port Moresby. Thank you for watching, and we will see you next time.